Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is a scene for the Kingdom of the Southern Gate. Jump right into things. Rocky and Ash were speaking after spending a family night in together. And something happened to Ash as they were speaking. He exclaimed that he couldn't breathe and was gasping for air. And Rocky hopped up and threw open the window and gave him some space. And it only escalated, and he blacked out. He had been basically trying to get up to to do, and he just blacks out and hits the floor. He was talking to Eli earlier when he first came in, so he's wearing a pair of sleeping pants and like a tank top. But yeah, Rocky, he hits the ground.
She rushes down to him, like checking pulse, breathing, trying to, if he's alive, if he's still alive, you know.
His pulse is very rapid and hard.
Okay, so his heart's still beating. That's a good step in the right direction.
Mm-hmm. And he is breathing. But it's very shallow, fast breathing.
She's gonna throw the door open to the room and scream help.
Okay, so Rose.
Loud and echoey and...
Yes. Rose, you hear Rocky scream for help.
Rose, I'm imagining she's now having to climb out of in between two people.
Both who also wake up. Like, okay, whoa, what?
She will spring up out of bed, and rapidly move out, and she's pulling on clothes as she's running down the hallway.
Okay.
Wondering what the hell is going on with Rocky.
Rocky is screaming. Like, it's full of panic and fear.
I have this image of Rose with like her panties on and like one of Alexa's shirts like on.
Probably just whatever she can grab. She's putting on.
So Rose runs up, if you're okay with this, in her panties and a Hawaiian shirt.
Yes. That's fantastic.
It's because Eli wears Hawaiian shirts to work because he works in a children's hospital.
So she has one of his shirts on. That's great.
Rocky, Rose, of all fucking people, runs up in a pair of panties and a beautiful Aloha shirt.
Rocky is kind of oblivious. She's sitting there at Ash's head, like stroking it, like, "It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. Somebody will help. Somebody will help. Somebody will help." And she's gonna just let out another scream of, "Please, somebody help."
Rose is entering the room as she's saying that, and just like, "What's going on? What's happening?"
He said he couldn't breathe, and then he just fell down and passed out, and I don't know what to do. I'm not a doctor. I don't...
Okay, calm down. There actually is somebody here that can help. And she will holler for Eli.
Okay. A few minutes later, he'll come in with his sleeping pants on and like a tank top, and he's holding a like one of those crash bags, like the bag like when somebody has an emergency, like a doctor has on them.
Yeah.
And he'll come over and put it down, and he is like in full fucking work mode, and he'll basically, his hands start moving, and he'll like clip something to Ash's finger and check it. And
Rose will pull Rocky away so that he can work and try and soothe her as much as possible.
Rocky's gonna pull away from Rose and go get Devin and hold him.
So he'll work for a few minutes, like establishing his blood pressure, like kind of checking things out, listening to his heart. And he is speaking in Russian to Alexei, who's kind of like leaning against the door in a bathrobe. And eventually he kind of goes into his bag as Ash is like kind of waking up and still like hyperventilating. So he goes into his bag and he fills a syringe and kind of like slides it into like the meat of his arm and pushes the plunger and basically kind of like rubs it in basically and like snaps his fingers in front of his face and tells him to look at him and like kind of coaches him through like slowing his breathing down and things like that. And he'll look over his shoulder at the girls, and he'll be like, he's having a panic attack.
Rocky looks confused.
What would have caused him to have a panic attack?
He'll shake his head. He doesn't know yet. And he'll basically he coaches him through kind of calming down and relaxing. He gave him a benzodiazepine, so he's gonna fucking calm down in a minute. You actually, for sake of speed, although it takes a little bit for benzos to kick in, you start to see his face kind of relax, and he kind of shakes his head a little bit and blinks, and you can start to see him medically calming down, like, and he'll just kind of sit up and like as Eli does another round of like vitals on him and smiles at him and kind of pats his shoulder. He's stable now, and he'll step back and like start picking up the stuff from the bag.
Rocky is gonna go and kneel down on the other side, out of the way of Eli, with Devin, and she has Devin in one arm, and she's gonna reach out with her hand and kind of touch Ash's cheek. A very concerned look on her face.
He'll raise his palm to hers and kind of nuzzle her hand. I don't know what happened. I just felt like I was dying. Like I couldn't breathe.
Eli said you were having a panic attack. What upset you so much?
He'll think. I felt like I said something to Rocky that was very self-centered, and I wasn't trying to say that, and I felt like I don't know why, but I felt like devastatingly it was the wrong thing to say. That it was like one of those, you look back on it and regret saying that for the rest of your life.
Rocky's looking at him completely confused because there was nothing in that conversation that made her feel anything remotely like that.
He'll try to think back on what they were saying and talking about. And I think it's when you said that you don't feel differently from me.
Yeah, nothing you've said or done has made me love you any. And then she kind of like realizes she just said that like out loud in front of people.
Rose gives a little bit of a smile.
Up like, I thought you meant, he blushes like, I'm a jackass. I'm a jackass. It's kind of clear now that he thought you meant the other way, that you didn't feel any differently for him, as in, like,
Rose
Yeah,
is gonna step out of the room now.
he blushes like, oh. I I thought you meant you didn't feel differently, as in you didn't. Wow. Oh my God. I'm a jackass.
And she's gonna hug him, and with Devin in her arms, so that they're both kind of hugging him.
Blinks slowly as something connects in his brain, and he's like, he kind of like looks left and right for a moment and furrows his brow and then just shakes his head like, no, 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 no. Just look back to her.
She'll pull back from the hug, look her over to Eli. Is he gonna be okay?
He should be, but they're not. Panic attacks are for the most part benign, although they feel like you're dying. It's a very, valid feeling. It's the fight or flight response. It's something I would follow up with a doctor. He may. He's been under a lot of stress recently.
How soon
And
should I get him to the doctor?
no, tomorrow?
Today?
No, not tomorrow. Tomorrow. It's not a hospital thing, but he should see a psychiatrist for it, probably. He may need. It could be a one-off thing, or it could be his stress manifesting as anxiety. And panic attacks they can be an outcome of anxiety reactions.
Also, the other people in the room will notice that Rockie's mantle has gotten stronger overnight.
But you should definitely follow up with this doctor. As I said, it may be a one-time thing, or it could become reoccurring if he doesn't get them under control.
She'll nod.
Good note to make. But Ash will kind of lean over and lay his head on her shoulder and nuzzle it.
She'll use her
Mhm.
free hand to just stroke his head.
Lexa is gonna kind of look over everyone, and he'll say, why don't I make some breakfast? And everybody can get ready for the day, noting the the overall presence of pajamas and other people's clothing and things like that.
Rose gives a little bit of a sheepish smile and she nods.
Rocky, now that like the adrenaline's starting to fade, kind of turns and pulls herself closer to Ash because she had not put on clothes yet.
Oh! And Rose didn't even really pay that much. She's seen Rocky naked, so it's not a big deal to her.
The gay man did not notice either. Sorry. He wasn't quite paying attention to that. Eli noticed, or not Eli, poof! Lexa noticed, so that's why he said something. He'll look at Rose and he'll say, you want to help me make it?
Of course. I would love to.
And the king will pack his things up, and he'll nod to the both of them and kind of pet the baby's head.
Before he walks off, she's gonna reach out and like touch his hand and just say thank you.
He'll think on it for a moment, and he'll lean over, and kiss Ash's forehead. And you can feel the shifting of like energy and like kind of a snap of like power as Ash kind of shivers a touch. And you can basically just kind of sense this protection on him. And he'll give Rocky an almost kind of like, look, more. He's more protected. Although I don't know if Rocky has the occult to know what happened.
Her cult is one.
Oh, okay, yeah. So if you want to roll it, you can. You can roll what's occult. Nice.
Nope, she doesn't know.
Okay. So he'll leave them be for a moment and say, see you at the breakfast table.
She will smile and nod and then kind of just rest her forehead against Ash.
I'll smile down to her. I'm sorry I frightened you. I feel terrible. You're Autumn. That may have been good for you. I'll kind of just speculate as to whether that was actually a positive thing for her.
When he says that, she gets a very sad look on her face. She realizes it may have been her fault.
What's wrong?
I'm Autumn.
I'm Spring. We did spend all night essentially wrapped up in desire. I don't think I have to remind you.
No, I remember. But you took what was said and it went to your worst fears.
We're adjusting. I took what you said and it went to my worst fears, and you threw aside your inhibitions last night and lay with me, even though we were both worried it may not be the best time or place. So obviously we've influenced each other a bit, for both better or worse. That you completely Faye married me. I mean, he'll just like shrug, like, I mean, really.
Link, does that still?
Well, he'll not. No. Yeah. All those inhibitions went right out the window, and you were just like, I pledge my eternal love to you. And it was beautiful, and I'm so happy you did. And I am very interested to see where this is going to go. I'm so happy I get to walk through my life with you and Devin. This will be no shortage of, I hate to say entertainment because it sounds petty, but we won't be bored, I think, ever.
Let's see. We have a child who's taking after both of us already.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if we're bored, he's up to something.
Oh, yeah. This child being quiet will never be a good thing.
No.
He'll
Speaking
pull
of,
her
and
close.
she kind of pushes Devin between them.
He'll look down at him and
I'm
kind of his stomach.
I'm sitting here naked and we just had a room full of people, so I'm gonna get dressed.
You have this quality about you that when you focus on your nudity, it is glorious. But when it's a passive thing, you have that quality where it's like being around a new doll. He winces, like, please don't get mad at me for that.
She kind of has this. I'm not sure how I feel about that look on her face. She's kind of chewing her lip as she thinks about it. I'm still gonna get dressed.
Oh, no, obviously get dressed. I'm just saying that I wouldn't be too embarrassed for what's happened so far.
Yeah, so, yeah, and she will go and get dressed and they can all go have breakfast, I guess.
Yes. I'll hop to Rose really quick if you don't mind, because
Sure.
I think her and Lexa need to have a minor talk.
I wouldn't have any idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, so he'll turn on. He'll put a skillet on the stove and start baking, and rolls going in the oven, and he'll just kind of look over at her like he'll just blink like oh, we may have just been caught. That whole look on his face.
He'll say, "Are you okay?" She'll say, "Are you okay?"
I'm fine. He'll kind of point at Rocky and then them, like between them.
What about them? She says very sweetly.
We us and why
She
am
smiles.
I so shy? He'll like bounce. Like, why am I so shy?
She'll walk over to him. One of your most endearing qualities. She'll give him a kiss on the cheek.
He'll lean over and poke the bacon with the spatula as he wraps an arm around her. He's
Now,
got like the full lip pout going on right now on that adorable fucking face. Like,
she spends a moment just staring at him because, yeah.
yeah, Eli looks up from his paper like, oh my god, and just shakes his head and looks back down. No. No. Stop.
She'll
also, Eli. Oh, go.
I was gonna say she will look at Lexa and be like, "So when did Ash come in last night?"
You remember last night when I said Rocky wasn't alone?
Right.
Uh-huh. He'll nod.
She gives a nod as well. And then what else were you gonna say?
Oh no, Eli looks up and he still looks kind of tired, and he says, when breakfast is finished, I'm going back to bed. He'll yawn. I'm still very tired, and I had a very close case last night.
Rose will frown a little bit. I'm sorry to hear that.
That was a drowning situation on a very young child. I keep telling parents, do not turn your back on your baby if they're in water. They don't listen.
Of course.
Shake his head and look down. It's okay, but I need to rest.
Well,
And he'll smile at Lexa.
Rose will look back to Lexa. I'm going to go put my own clothes on. I will be right back.
Oh, but you look so cute. Why? Like, wrap his arms around her, like, no, you look adorable. Don't. You're wearing Eli's clothes. That's cute. That last part was
He might like his shirt back.
it was like he like kind of looks up like, I will let you use that excuse. Take it.
And she scampers off to go change back into her own clothes, and then she'll come back and help Alexa finish making breakfast.
But to address the white elephant in the room, you did run out of my room in my husband's clothing. Your own panties. But
She shrugs.
so are we, is it, he'll kind of point over in the direction of the others, like, is it okay to be, but
Rocky is my best friend, so at least to her. And I'm very sure that Ash is not aware of anything going on at this point.
and are we maintaining that, or is he?
She thinks for a moment.
He's the king of desire. He probably already knows. He just looks up like, oh, duh.
She nods. You're probably right.
He'll dump some bacon onto a serving plate. Residual, yes. The king would have at least. He'll just kind of shake his head and think for a moment. And kind of look back at Rose and smile at her.
She will smile back. What are you thinking about right now?
He, like, his face lights up. like, I can't believe you asked me that. You're going to hate me by the time I'm done. At what point in Harry Potter did they need to stop relying on technological advances? He'll nod.
Hang on, can you repeat that out of character?
At what point in Harry Potter did they have to stop relying on technological advances? That was his answer.
She seems a little confused by that. She doesn't understand what he's saying. Like, she doesn't even really know Harry Potter, so.
He's like, have you ever seen the Harry Potter series?
Can't say that I have, no.
Okay, well, it's a magical setting. And a lot of the setting harkens back to Edwardian or Victorian era England. And magic essentially infuses everything that they do in their day-to-day life that influences pretty much everything about them. And they don't have a lot of modern technologies, things like televisions, modern kitchen equipment or cars, things of that nature, because they don't need them because of their magic. So what was it about the Victorian era, which is essentially where their culture stopped, that had sufficient technological advances that could not be replicated by their magic that caused them to? Like, he rolls his finger like, I'll start going on a tangent if I don't stop. So I'll stop and smile at her. That's what I was thinking.
It's an interesting theory for sure.
You asked what I was thinking about. I was also thinking about how lovely you look right now, and I'm glad that our relationship is deepened and all those good things, but he'll nod. That's just a fact. I mean, I don't know why.
She blushes. Well, perhaps another day we can have that conversation.
Well, you need to marathon the movies first. You have to understand.
She'll nod. All right, I can do that.
I have some very serious arguments with the series, but overall it's fairly enjoyable. I wish that it would have been told from the perspective of Hermione Granger. Yes.
She'll smile too. Just she really doesn't know what he's talking about.
He'll just shrug like that's all. That's all I got. That was it.
That kind of stuff is not what she was interested in as a kid. So it's just, yeah. Oh.
He'll smile at her and he'll plate some more of the bacon that he was cooking. He'll lean over and kiss her cheek. Like he doesn't even give a shit that he's being a fucking like total geek right now.
She finds it extremely adorable, and she's just grinning like an idiot.
Him and what the fuck is his name? Eli will have a very quick conversation in Russian, and he'll just laugh and shake his head like, "Shut up." And Eli will just smile. She could tell it wasn't about her; it was about the subject. Just when they speak Russian to each other, when like that's their first language, like their what do you call it? Their at home quote unquote language.
Yes.
So they're not trying to exclude her when they do that. It's just what they're so used to that they just naturally do it.
She's not too worried about it, though she thinks that maybe she should learn Russian.
Probably, yes, you can do that, by the way. If we'll talk about it like after scene. When Rocky and Ash would like to rejoin, they may rejoin whenever.
They'll come out. She'll have Devin on her hip.
Ash will find a spot to sit and kind of. He's very dazed a little bit because he's on a benzodiazepine right now, so he's on Valium. So he's like, oh my. He's kind of just staring at a point at the wall with like just this very neutral look on his face, just kind of like really nice backsplash in their house. He's appreciating the shit out of that backsplash.
That's great.
Kind of like he'll like paw over at Rocky, like paw. Senpai noticed me.
Yes.
Can we put that backsplash in our kitchen? He'll point at it like, I want that backsplash.
You'll have to ask them if you can take it.
Can I have your backsplash? Eli just looks at him before he finishes, like, no.
Perhaps you can recommend a place where he could get one similar.
He'll raise his brow and look up, and he'll say, perhaps His Majesty would remember that he needs a place to put the backsplash first.
Rose just chuckles and is like, damn.
King of sass away here. Ash just, his eyes go wide, and he looks almost betrayed, like, fuck. I forgot that part. He's like, you can enjoy the backsplash while you're here, but you do need to find your own residence, because as for now, and he'll it's one of those things where it's like, I don't mean to be this messy, but somebody needs to say it, so it might as well be me. You're bringing back your family to, and he'll like kind of point at the fact that he's only just so divorced. Might want to get a new house, is all I'm saying. I know a couple of of places that are nice near the freehold. He'll nod. But you need a house now that you can put children and he'll point at Rockie like, I don't know what she is. Like,
Rockie just nods.
and then I will
There's
let
that
the
hint of,
Italian to put my backsplash in.
there's definitely a hint of, yeah, you almost said it, but I'm not sure that the world's ready for that yet.
But neither is he. There's so many relationships in this room that the world aren't ready for.
That's the damn truth.
He'll go back to admiring the backsplash on his volume high. Very, very, very alarmed and surprised by the fact that there's bacon and cinnamon rolls and eggs in front of him. He swears they weren't there a second ago. They weren't. It's because Lexa put them down. His brain didn't catch that Lexa put them down, so he's looking at them as though they manifested on his goddamn counter, and now he's confused.
Do I need to feed you too?
No. I just feel so...
She picks
He,
up a
like-
piece of bacon and holds it towards his mouth.
He'll take a bite, and Lexa will look over at Eli like, how much did you give him? What did you do? Because it's really starting to settle in now. That it takes some time. And it's really hitting him now. And he'll just shrug and he'll say the maximum dosage I could for his weight. I didn't know how bad it was. He'll just shake his head like, you're the doctor, okay? I'm not going to say anything.
Well, Rose, it looks like he's going to be taking a nap, so we'll have Devin with us when we go shopping today.
Lexa will look up and he's like, oh, I can watch him.
Are you sure? I don't want to be a bother, and it's bad enough that we're staying here with you.
How mad would you be if I painted your baby? Like, look at her.
Rose just kind of looks at him like, really?
Rocky just kind of shrugs like, whatever.
Yes! He bounces and
And if
squeaks.
Rocky doesn't have a problem with it, then Rose doesn't either. She's like, okay, whatever.
He like
Just make sure that it's like baby safe paint, because he's going to put it in his mouth.
he'll nod, and like, it's his like he does the hand flappy thing. He's so happy. He squeezed like yes. I'm gonna paint
And
the
Rose
baby.
cannot help but just look at him with all of the fondness in her eyes because she loves when he's this adorable.
He's like bouncing. I'm gonna make him look like a tiger. I'm gonna make him look like a tiger.
Make sure you send us pictures.
He'll nod enthusiastically. The
All right, so Eli
last-
is gonna sleep, and Lexa is gonna paint the baby, and we're gonna go shopping.
And Ash is just going to veg out on Valium.
He'll look
Yeah.
over at her like he like Ash kind of like reaches out and like touches Rocky's cheek like boop.
She's trying not to grin at him because he's kind of being adorable right now, but she knows it's kind of her fault that he's in this mentally messed up place right now from the drugs. So she's trying not to smile, but she can't help but smile when she's around him and her son.
He he boops her cheek again and he goes, I love you.
I know. And she's just gonna smile at him.
I love that movie. He'll smile.
Which one?
Star Wars, you're my Han Solo, and I'm your Princess Leia.
Rose just cracks up laughing so hard. And Lexa will notice she knows Star Wars but didn't know Harry Potter. Go figure.
which he says to Eli in Russian, like, come on. And he'll just shake his head. Everybody knows Star Wars. What the hell?
Rocky has this look of like, I think I've heard those names somewhere, but I don't know what you're talking about.
Princess Leia is my favorite Disney princess. He'll nod.
Rose cocks her head like it just still hasn't really registered to her that Star Wars is a Disney franchise now.
He's like,
she at least like guns or something?
He'll tilt his head.
Lightsabers.
Which are
They're like swords, kind of.
They wouldn't work in real life. The fight would be so short. You see, lightsabers. The thing about lightsabers is dolphins. And he just puts his head down.
Rocky has a gleam of an idea go through her eyes.
His head pops back up. No!
He didn't see it. He had his head down.
You think he doesn't know her well enough?
He just says, you asked.
You can't. Okay, I know I asked you to make me a bitch in Spring Blade earlier. You're gonna make it a lightsaber now, aren't you?
If that's the sword that like grows out of the handle, and I'm gonna make it green so it's springy colored.
That was so loaded. Eli goes like, you?
And I'll prove it can work.
It can work, but the fights would be very short because when you're dueling, you're not aiming for each other's swords like they do in the franchise. You're aiming for the other person. And if you hit the other person with a beam of pure heat light energy, it's going to hurt so badly that they're probably going to immediately go into shock, fall down, and if not die in 5 seconds when you run them through with your lightsaber. So therefore, lightsabers don't feasibly work.
It'll make sure other people don't make them. And it'll make sure that you know you'll win.
Lexa just looks at Rose like, this has gone beyond me. I'm not that bad. I'm like that nerdy. Like, I can talk about the technological advances of the Harry Potter world, but that went over my head.
Rose just kind of shrugs. She doesn't.
He'll lift a piece of cinnamon roll up to her lips like, I'm lost. I don't know Star Wars that well.
I don't know it that well either. That's just
what do you know? What is your passion?
It's me. She has this thing for me in like the center of her world. She made a house for me. She's
Rose smacks Rocky.
Hot.
pulls the baby kind of closer to kind of use him as a deterrent from more slapping.
Very nice. Oh, baby is a shield. How autumn of you.
Oh my god! Right, for sure. She just kind of shrugs and she's like, or I would guess social things. I like going to events and things like that. I know a lot about that life.
Fancy parties, fancy dresses, fancy
Coffee.
clothes, fancy earrings, fancy jewelry.
Why are you saying that in such a mocking tone?
Do you remember the stuff you tried to get me to buy when I had to go get all new clothes because everything was too big for me?
Yes, and they fit you just fine.
Half of them cost more than my old wardrobe did, combined.
Quality costs more.
Yeah, but you were trying to put me in dresses all the time. And skirts.
Because they look cute on you.
Deadpan stare.
Rose just gives a very smug smile.
The one very queer man in the room will look up and go, will look up and nod at Rose. Like, I'm with you. We're here.
Rose is very happy about that.
You can't sir, you there with her? Other two may not. They're just kind of looking at her like, what? But
Besides, Ash likes me the way I am. He doesn't want me in dresses and skirts. Huh, Ash? And she's gonna kind of nudge him with her elbow.
he'll look at her like, I don't care what you're wearing. I don't care what you're not wearing. As long as you're comfortable. He'll shrug.
See? Comfort trumps beauty.
If you do, if we, and you, and Queen, you may every once in a while have to not, and you might have to,
I have to wear heels.
do you wear the heels that, no, you don't have to wear heels. He'll shake his head.
And as Ash is shaking his head, Rose is nodding her head, like, yes, yes, you should.
He'll pot her when one is high, like how they pot someone, like, witness me.
Uh-huh.
He'll pot her like, you could wear those heels that the girls that are dancing pretty wear, but not the ones on the poles, the ones on the dance floor with the old people. And the heels that have the more heel. And he'll nod like that fucking made sense.
Wedges. Those are called wedges.
Wedges. It sounds like something.
I suppose that's really for more casual things.
That does sound like something that Alex DeLarge would insult somebody with, calling a woman a wedge. He'll nod.
Rose looks at him perplexed and looks at Rocky and gives her a look like, are you serious?
Rocky's looking down at herself, trying to figure out if she's wedge shaped.
Oh my god!
He's like, please, somebody in this room tell me they get me, okay? And Eli just looks up and shakes his head like, no, man, you're really high.
Here, eat a cinnamon roll and she'll hold the cinnamon roll up for him.
Nom, 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 nom. And Lex is trying not to die of laughter.
Rose looks over to Lexa and says, you might have to babysit him too.
I see that. I'm going to paint him too.
I was going to say he's so high he might not notice you painting him.
I'm going to paint him head to toe.
As what?
Great.
What are you gonna paint him as?
Think on it. Like, really hard. What does one
tree?
paint? No, that's simple. Like, no, woman.
Okay, make him the whole forest.
That sounds vaguely wrong.
She doesn't care.
He'll ponder for a moment.
He's got plenty of wood on his own, okay? And then she kind of realizes what she just said. And with her pale skin, when she blushes, it's very obvious.
Rose is grinning from ear to ear now, and she is reveling in Rockie's suffering.
Baby fucking laughs, okay? He doesn't even know what you said, but the whole room's reaction causes the baby to crack the fuck up.
And that just makes Rose laugh because that is the most adorable thing in the room besides Lexa. It's this baby just cracking up laughing.
Rocky just shakes her head like, I'm out of my league here.
Eli will get up and come over and kiss Rose on the cheek softly. And walk over and kiss Lexa on the lips softly. And he'll say, I'm going back to bed. He looks so tired.
Sleep well.
I will try. I will try. If I don't get painted while I'm sleeping.
I think he has plenty to keep him busy this afternoon. Or this morning.
What with her husband's wood? I see that. He'll walk off. Like, and Lexa will say something in Russian to him, and he'll stop and turn and smile. And he's like, you should probably tell her that one. And he'll nod and walk off, and Lexa goes red.
Rose turns to Lexa. What did you say?
There's only one body I prefer in my bed that wasn't his. He'll shrug.
She smiles, blushes a little bit.
Okay. I am well rested and have plenty of paint and paintbrushes. So he'll walk over and hold his hands out for the baby.
She's gonna give him a tight hug and a kiss on the forehead before she hands him off.
And he'll take him. And he does have proficiency with children. He knows how to take care of them. So he'll put him on his hip and tickle his belly. And that baby in his arms, oh my God, lights up like crazy. Something about Lexa makes the baby very, like, they have a connection, a weird, like, something about him makes the baby like, oh my God. You can probably give me a wits composure roll to see what it is. Both of you may make the roll.
I have like 2 successes.
Le 2 successes?
We both
And Le Rose has... Okay. The baby, Lexa has, on his skin, like across his skin, he has what looks like black ink stains. It's a manifestation of his artist, Kith. It almost looks like he has... It's very similar to like if he had vitiligo, and instead of being white patches, it were like inky black patches. And the baby is like touching them because the baby has marks on his skin that are like runes and like words, and like he keeps like touching them because Lexa has like marks on his skin like he does.
Okay.
So it looks familiar to him, and it's big.
Rocky is gonna finish feeding Ash.
Yeah, he doesn't even really need him to. He just likes the attention. He's like, yay, she's paying attention to me.
And then she's gonna get him to go lay down.
He so pretty much hits the bed, and the second his head is like on that pillow, he kind of falls asleep. Like,
And then Rocky and Rose will go shopping for more baby stuff.
more baby stuff. Do you guys need to talk about anything?
I don't think so.
You good?
I think that's good.
Okay. So I think we get into our scene there. So thank you players for playing, and thank you watchers for watching, and thank you for button pressers for buttoning them.